Shut up and sit down.
It's crazy. It's crazy because we're officially at our 10th episode, and I say our because without your loving, caring support, I would not be here right now. So thank you very much, everybody. 10th episode. I'm really happy I got this far, honestly. Started off as a little project. Didn't know how seriously I was going to take it, but we're here. Still doing it. You guys are still watching, so it's always appreciated. Still getting feedback, still getting good response, and I'm still getting people asking if they can come on the show. I know you guys keep hearing that, and you're like, dude, where the hell are your guests? They'll be here in due time. That being said, yes, once again, extremely happy we got to 10. 10's a big marker, right? Because anything under 10 is not impressive. Because everyone can do it, and I feel like anything over 10, because I don't know if you guys know how Netflix does their shit, right? If Netflix likes your first 10 episodes, they'll ask you to do another 90 more. So this is the type of agreement that we have right now. So I did 10 episodes, and now you guys are stuck for another 90, so this podcast is going to go until another 100, I guess. Yeah, so this podcast is going to go until 100 episodes, so congratulations. For those of you who are already bored, shit. And for those of you who aren't, I'm giving you another 90 possible videos for you to start hating the living fuck out of me. That being said, of course, I am, as usual, rocking beautiful Keepaline apparel. This one's limited edition gray long sleeve print that we did with the fluorescent. I'm not even sure what that color is. Might be purple, might be blue, might be turquoise. Who really knows? I am color challenged, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you who want to crack a joke at that one, I'll explain the difference between challenged and blind. Colorblind people can't tell the difference between pink and white. They'll see pink as actual white, and I find that extremely funny, while as I am just challenged, and I find that cute, because what challenged is I'll have a hard time distinguishing between the tones of blues, as I just did with the writing on my sweatshirt, long shirt, and then I'll also have a hard time differentiating some tones of red with the brown and this and that. So I think it's cute more than anything else, because it makes for innocent mistakes, and sometimes what I wear is a little bit flashier than it has to be, but hey, I blame it on the fact that I can't properly see color. I think color itself is a weird thing because what's yellow for me, well, although it's a universal thing now, yellow is a universal thing, but what is yellow, If someone were to ask you to describe the color orange, you can't really describe it other than using the word orange, right? You can't use, what are you going to say, lighter tone of red? It's red and yellow mixed together. It's still, what are all these things that we're throwing out? These are just universal values. It doesn't mean that the way I perceive color is the same way someone else would perceive color. Now that sounds stupid and way far-fetched for my brain in conversations on this podcast, but I decided to still bring it up because, hey, my train of thought led me there, and I'm gonna ride this one out for as long as I can. So yeah, what are colors? Like, colors are fucking crazy, bro. Colors, we give items a designated color, and everyone has to respect that color. I want to know who the first person was to say this is that color and that is this color and this is how we're gonna do it. Because what if we've been saying red for fire trucks, but in the reality they're not red? What if that is blue? And I'll take a minute. This might mindfuck a whole bunch of you because I'm having a hard time explaining it myself, because I am not a scientist, nor am I a color expert. I'm sorry, I don't work at a paint company, so I can't tell you the different tones of color, and I can't tell you why they're that color. But what I would want to know, honestly, is why is it that we associate names with these colors, although that might not be the case. And once again, the prime example that I can give you is, why is this wall gray? And I hope it's gray, and I hope I don't have that wrong, whereas for someone else that color might just simply be yellow. We chose the names of the colors. That sounds stupid to say now because all of you are like, dude, that's for sure not yellow, you're not challenged, you're blind. I'm not. It is gray, definitely, but it's a color, it's a name we have given to the color. So how much of it is reliable, how much of it is true, I don't freaking know. That's why I like to talk about it, because I like to discuss, because I feel like when a lot of people talk together in a community, people get to learn and people get to grow. That's just my opinion. Some of you are selfish as fuck, make fun of me. That's cool. You're still watching my shit. Cool. Let's keep going on with the story. I went to my osteopath yesterday. And for those of you who don't know what osteopaths are, in my opinion, body geniuses. These people know every single attachment of your body. They know every single fiber, every single bone, and they know how to actually make you feel better. So if my osteo is watching, or if he's listening to this, shout out to you. His name's Patrick. I'll make sure to put a link tagging him. I'll tag his Instagram page. I think it's Posturo Plus on Instagram. So for those of you who don't speak French, I'll repeat it. Posture as in posture, and plus as in plus, so Posturo Plus. Great guy, honestly, great service. And I think if I were to pick one job that I never want to do in my life, that would be it. I apologize once again if he is listening. That's a crazy freaking job, man. You're gonna have to, first of all, having me as a client alone is uncomfortable and annoying because I'm hairy, which is, it's all right. I'm a man. I've associated with it. I'm okay with it. But to have to go 10-hour shifts working on another human's body nonstop would be probably the most torturous thing for me. And I love my job. I love helping people out, getting them into shape. But that's why I did personal training and not physiotherapy or osteotherapy or none of that other bullshit, because I get to keep the distance between me and the client. That means I don't have to spend 10 hours of the day rubbing down people and making sure that they're feeling better. Also, there is a ridiculously fine line between fixing someone and hurting someone. This man had my knee in all kinds of weird places. He had my hip in all kinds of weird places. And if I were to think about doing any of that by myself on my own times, I can already feel my bones cracking and my body yelling out help, because it is not gonna work out. So shout out once again to Patrick. If you guys have a broken body and you need to put it into shape, go take it to someone who is good at what they do. Don't take it to just some random YouTube celebrity or Instagram celebrity that you saw and try to copy what they're doing. Some shit should be done by professionals who have actually studied. He's been to school for the last 6 years, 7 years. He keeps going to school. Every time I'm speaking to him, he's still in school. He's still doing homework. He's still doing all kinds of whack shit like that. So honestly, hats off to him, figuratively. He's really killing it. I would recommend them to anyone I know. My clients, first and foremost, like to send it to them. I know other trainers who like to send their clients to him because it is a great source. That's why teamwork, guys. That's why the system of the community works. Because what is a community? I'm going to create some space so I can put my hands down here. What is a community? A community is very simple. A community doesn't mean that we all have to always love each other, but it means that we all get to have each other's backs. So if I'm a personal trainer and if my client is hurt, if you have a community system set up with someone who can take care of that client and make your job easier, and then make your client's life easier by ensuring them safer and better results, why not let that association happen? A lot of you people don't understand what it means to do a community work. It doesn't mean that I have to eat off of your plate. It just means we all get to have a plate in front of us and we all get to eat. Now, this to me is also a shocking topic because a year ago, even shorter than that, a few months ago, I might have necessarily not been thinking about that. And this is going to be a personal subject. And I feel like some people might associate. So that's why I'll feel comfortable speaking about it. But I too personally never felt that kind of live and let live type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? I know because of social media and because of the way we live our lives right now, a lot of people are so stuck up on that sense where we get mad. There's an extra hater gene in all of us as soon as we open social media, and I feel it's extremely toxic, and I want to speak about it so that hopefully we can squash it and we could all get better as a unit. So what I mean by that is, I remember, at least for myself, I used to get mad when other personal trainers would post pictures or videos, but and then I would realize that that's not hindering my eating. I was just being jealous of the fact that he had more food on his plate, but that's not how this life should work. We should all focus on the fact that we all have plates in front of us in the first place, and we're all eating in the second. You know, because if everyone is eating, then there's less hungry mouths, and then there's less sad, bitter people, and there's more positive energy, and there's more positive vibes. So if anyone still remembers the 2017 phase where it was all about the positive vibes and fuck your bad vibes, dude. Let's all be in a positive, happy state of mind. Let's all support each other. If you know someone who cuts hair, refer the people cutting hair to him. I'm not a hairdresser. Why would I as you guys can see clearly from the butchered hairline that I have. It's not my job to be cutting people's hair, but if I know someone who cuts hair, why wouldn't I recommend people to go to him and support his business? You guys seem to have, and whenever I say you guys, I speak lightly, you know. I speak to whoever the shoe might fit in this particular sentence or in this particular time or in this particular explanation. But some people seem to have a better time supporting or helping out, quote unquote, helping out people they don't even know. Like, you guys think it's not factual like that, but at the end of the day, it is. The slightest amount of feedback that you send to someone makes a big difference. Word to mouth is one of the biggest forms of advertisement that you could find to date. Yes, social media is extremely important, and I will go to there, but word to mouth is still equally important. So if you know of a person that offers a service or a job or does something, and you know someone else who needs that service, job, or something, why the hell wouldn't you link up your friends together and ensure that everyone grows together? I find that extremely difficult to understand. So if you guys are still haters and if you guys are still jealous about other people doing stuff and improving their lives, then it sucks to be you, because you're a piece of shit person. That's what it comes down to. That is my opinion, but that seems to be a universal understanding. People don't want other people to do good. And I don't understand it, because as long as that good isn't interrupting you from eating, then there shouldn't be a problem. If someone is doing good, support them and use it as a means to better yourself. And if you can't do that, then eliminate yourself from the equation, hide in a freaking room and cry yourself to sleep. I'm sorry, you guys are sensitive, you don't want to hear it, that's none of my business. But there has to be a means of support system for each other. We have to get rid of the hate, and we have to start living in a more community-based system. That was word to mouth. That was my example for the word to mouth. Now, if we're going to talk about social media, what I mean by social media is you guys all have your group of followers and your group of followings, and then everyone has their set group of followings. There might be mutual followers in between, but you taking 3 seconds out of your day to whether like, comment, tag, or repost any one of your other friends' stories, whether it's something good that they're doing or whether they are sending out a message, it makes a huge difference. You guys can't just always be that guy who hides and then doesn't want to support anyone, and at the end of the day gets mad when no one else is supporting them. No one owes you anything in this world. Yes, I understand that, and I'm fully aware of that, and you don't have to go out of your way to do anything for anyone. But understand that if you have 400 followers, something you post from someone else might help one of your 400 followers. And if out of those 400 followers, one of them utilizes what you just reposted, that makes a huge difference. So why would you do that for celebrities or for people you don't know instead of doing it for people in your surroundings? So many of you like to act like your family, like your friends. Oh, I love my homies, but it's not there. There's a gap. There's a lack of it. I don't know if it's because you guys don't want to put that on your social media pages. Then why in the first place do you have a social media page? A social media page is a way for people to socialize, is a way for people to gather together. This is my opinion. This is how I feel about social media. I feel like we need to use social media as a tool to improve everybody's lives. That's just how I feel. That was a very long, treacherous conversation. I feel like a lot of people might have gotten bored off. A lot of people might get offended. That's cool. I'm going to switch the subject to something else real quick. I don't know if you guys heard, and this one's a bit of a funny one. This girl by the name of Sydney Ireland. Now, I feel like today I'm going to name the freaking podcast Triggered, because a lot of people are going to get triggered, and this is going to hit the female community. Before anything else, I want to start off, I feel like this is already going to hurt my cause. I want to start off by saying I believe in equal rights for everyone. Okay? I believe everyone should have the same amount of equal rights. Now, coming back to Sydney Ireland. Sydney Ireland is a Girl Scout. For those of you who don't know, there are Boy Scouts and there are Girl Scouts. The titles in itself explain, right? Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. This little girl is complaining that she should have the right to be in the Boy Scouts program, which doesn't have any females in them. Now, where my issue with all of this arises is that you are trying to change something that exists for over 100 years now. The Boy Scouts were founded in 1910. That means there's history behind it. That means there's guidelines and there's rules behind it. And I feel like this entire thing is going further and further and further because we are more and more okay with all the bullshit that is happening. Look, I love it. I love the effort. And that's why female scouts exist. That's why girl scouts exists. But you cannot change a system that already exists. No one is getting hurt because of the existence of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, apart from the long history of weird stuff that scout leaders have done to younger boys. We'll keep that hidden for now. We don't have to talk any about that. But I want to understand where this is going to end. Where are we going to cross the line between it making sense and it no longer making sense? If Girl Scouts never existed, secondly, Girl Scouts were founded in 1912, only 2 years later. If Girl Scouts never existed, I would be totally on the same page and I would be completely understanding and I would be like, you know what? Yeah, it makes sense. Cool. So on, so forth. But the organization already exists. Why are we fucking with that? Why are we changing something that's been working for the past 100 plus years? I am for everyone having the same happiness. I am for everyone being on the same playing field. But in this situation, I personally believe that everyone is on the same playing field. If we were to change it and talk about sports, that's a completely different situation because unfortunately, female athletes are treated unfairly compared to male athletes. That's a completely different demographic. That's a completely different spectrum. That is a completely different argument. And that is an argument that would make sense. But in this current situation, I do not personally think that it makes sense to fuck with the system because you are changing history. You are changing something that no one had a problem with for years and years and years. Boy Scouts were funded and then Girl Scouts were funded. And then you have your categories, and then boys have their categories. Don't go in there and change that. The argument she is making is the equivalent of saying, oh, I feel like this is going to get some people mad. The equivalent of saying we should take female basketball players, WNBA players, and put them in the NBA. She wants that same equivalent right, except that there are no pays involved in this. There are no social beneficial improvements at all into this. If a female NBA player, if WNBA player goes into the NBA, at least she'll get a higher pay grade. Unfortunately, it is what it is. There's more media marketing around it. But in this case, you going from Girl Scouts into Boy Scouts changes absolutely nothing. So I find it ludicrous to be talking about this subject so dearly. It keeps on growing. There is more and more conversation about this. And there's a rise happening in the United States because she seems to be having a case for herself. And personally, being someone who used to be in the Scouts, I find it crazy. I passed on that really quickly because I didn't want anyone to pick up on that. I find it really crazy that this is an actual situation. This is an actual topic where something might actually happen. How crazy would it be if 100 years of history were to change? And it's not bad history. It's not like it's 100 years of segregation and deprivation towards anyone or any race or any sex. Girls have had their own scouting unit. Haven't you ever heard of Girl Scout cookies? Are boys complaining? Boys aren't complaining about Boy Scout cookies. Oh, you're sexist for talking about cookies and Girl Scouts. No, I'm not sexist. I'm a realist. Some things need to stick the way they are. Okay? Now I'm going to drink some coffee because I need some of that shit because I'm tired of the bullshit. And I want to get into the philosophical idea that's been on the top of my head or in the bottom of my head, whatever. I don't really know where your ideas lie, but the philosophical idea that's been chilling in my head for a little bit, and I wanted to get that across. And here's my concept of this, and I hope at least one person gets to hear from this, and I hope at least one person gets an impact from this, and really, if it improves your life, amazing. And I hope it puts perspective into your life to understand the reality of it. Okay, this is my idea. I don't know if any other philosophers have ever spoken about it. I don't know if anyone has ever elaborated on this situation. I did not do my research, so if I'm stealing someone else's idea, I highly apologize. But for the rest, here it goes. I think we should take life as a game of chess. So all of you know what the game of chess is. Off the bat, that gives us two options. You could be playing your game of chess, which is you could be in 100% control of your own life. Or you could be playing someone else's game of chess, which means you let them do the moves and then you just go associate and you go around it, knowing inevitably that eventually you're going to be losing and they're going to be winning the match. So for those of you who are on the same page as I am as to this game being your own game of chess, being your game of life, let's carry on. Now the game of chess is it has the first line of soldiers, let's say. And the first line of soldiers are known as whatever they are, the pion, the first line, okay? We're going to call them your first source of friends, quote unquote, okay? This is going to be a sensitive topic. I feel like some people might get mad, and if whatever I say fits the shoes, and if you get offended, I didn't call anyone's name out, I didn't mention anyone's name, if you associated it with it, then sucks to be you. So, the first line is the line that you're willing to use as a line of defense and you are willing to use as a line of sacrifice. So if you notice that some of your immediate friends or some of the friends that you had are no longer there, that's okay. That's a loss you can take. In the game of chess, losing your pion, I really don't know what the name is and it's starting to bug me, but it's losing your initial piece isn't the end of the world. You start to get worried when your back line starts to get attacked, right? So the first line serves, as I said, as sacrifice or as a defense shield. But it also has a second perk to it. Whenever you take one of those little peons, I'm fucking getting mad. Whenever you take one of those little peons and you get to the end of a chessboard, you have the right to replace that with any other piece you want. So take that analogy and understand that some friends or some acquaintances that you meet in life will only serve a purpose into a certain goal. So if you notice that you have lost some of the friends along the way, and in the future, if you haven't regained those friends, that means they were pieces that you did not need in your chess game to succeed. Does everybody understand where I'm going? So the friend that you had in 6th grade that you no longer speak with, in the future, if you had the need to get that person back, once you got to the end of your chessboard, you would have brought that said person back. But if that person is no longer around, that means that person was just a piece of sacrifice or it was just a piece of game. You just needed it to get to where you want to get. It sucks to hear it. It is a dog-eat-dog world. Sometimes you need to step on a few fingers to go up the ladder, or in this case, you need to sacrifice a few pieces to win or get to the end objective. Now, once we get to the second line, apart from the king and the queen, there are 3 different units that you could use. There is the rook now, the rock or whatever the hell it is, the castle looking shape. That's the one I find that you need to use the most shelter on, because that's the one that you can interchange with your king if needed for defensive strategies. So for your rook, guys, hold on to your family, hold on to the people that actually support you, because the castle is a support system, right? The castle is a support system. No one wants to lose their rock in a game of chess because it is a strong piece. Now you have the little foo, that crazy looking thing that only goes diagonally. That is, in my opinion, that's a piece that you can lose, you know? That's a piece that you can lose, but it's, in some cases, it always stays there. Now, I'm not going to get into too detail about all the pieces because that's not the importance of it all. The importance of it all is the king and the queen at the end of it and the first line of units. As long as at the end of the day, your first line of defense gets you to where you want to go, don't feel bad about the friends you lost along the way. I feel like I lost some of you with the translation or with what I was trying to say, but what the end goal of my thing is in a game of chess, you don't expect to win the game with all of your peons still alive, right? You don't expect to win with all of your little button pieces at the end of it. You don't need the 8 of them. What you need at the end of the game of chess is your king to still be standing up. And the more pieces you have around it, the better of a game of chess you have played. The valuable pieces to keep are the ones on the back line, the ones that keep you strong, the ones that do the most significant amount of work. Anything else on the front line is interchangeable. That's what the point I'm trying to get across is that if you are noticing that some people in your life are starting to become toxic, are starting to become poisonous, are starting to give no positive effect to you or what the goal in your life is. If you cannot move forward with the pieces blocking you, it is time to lose those pieces and then eventually change them to better pieces, or in this case, being better people in your life. Do not be afraid, because at the end of the day, the goal is not to have the most amount of pieces left. The goal is to win the chess game. The goal is to not lose your king. If you can keep your queen with it, even better. If you can keep your freaking cavalier and your fool and your rock and all of that, even better. But you will never find anyone building their chess game around their first line of units. That's not how it works. The chess game is built around yourself and the immediate ones behind that do the most impact and the ones that keep you the most safe. That being said, I hope the message got across, right? Like, I mean, it might, this is why I haven't written a book yet, and this is why I'm not a famous philosopher, unfortunately. And I feel like I would be able to better explain this once I had my words written down, or if I had a better formal way of talking about it. But I hope the message went through nevertheless. The message is, I see a lot of you trying to hold on to things that you no longer need. If there is a piece in your life that you do not need and it does not bring you any better or any happiness, but it keeps you stagnant where you are, be okay with getting rid of that piece. There are moves that you have to make sometimes, which you won't understand in the present, but at the end of it, once you win the board game, once you win the game of life, and you get to the end objective where you are still standing, and you look around you and you see the pieces that you had there with you, those are the pieces that you needed to win the game. That's the simplest way I can put it. If you are losing certain people, elements, pieces, jobs, this, that, whatever it is, do not hold it to yourself as a sign of losing. Hold it to yourself as a sign of you no longer needing those. And as I said, in the future, once you get back to the back line, once your little peon gets to the back line, those who have succeeded, and if you can reuse that to bring back certain things into your life, then so be it, even better. But the things you bring back into your life are always going to be the things that had the most value to you. So to finalize it, because once again I feel like I went all over the place and a lot of you people lost track of what I was saying, do not be afraid to lose people or opportunities or jobs. Because the end goal is for you to win the board game. And the board game is the game of life. So if it takes you 15 more steps than it took the last person, that's fine. If it took you losing 4 more units than it did the first person, that's also fine. The goal is for you to finish the game and to be victorious. So don't worry about the little pieces that you lose in between, because the end result is the only thing that should really matter. That being said, I feel like it's a good enough note. Yeah, that's about it. I don't really have much else to add on that, nor anything else. Guys, it has been the 10th podcast. Like I said, I am really happy that some of you are listening still. Also, I'm planning on changing up the setup a little bit of the room. Gonna get a blackboard eventually. Gonna get the guests that come in to sign it. Once again, I'm only finalizing the dates with the guests I have. I do not have clearance to drop the names yet. They know who they are. I have spoken to them. It's gonna get better from here, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting more comfortable. We are finding our touch. As always, if you have any requests, if you have anything you want me to be speaking about, if you guys feel like I've said anything off, I love to have a discussion. Feel free, send me a message. I'm not gonna get mad at anyone. If you guys have any topics that you feel insecure to talk about on your own social media page and you feel like someone else should be talking about it, once again, go for it. Send me a message. I'm more than happy to talk about anything, because I feel like we should use this once again as a platform to socialize and to grow. It shouldn't be a platform to feel bad. It shouldn't be a platform for us to worry about our lives. Okay, this shit's too short. Have fun. Like I said, the only goal, the only reality is, at the end of the day, as long as you win, as long as you're happy, that's all that freaking matters. So on that note, congratulations to me and to the listeners on a 10th podcast. Probably not the best time to drink because I was finishing my sentence. That being said, new videos once every second day, maybe once every third day. Also, link is in the YouTube. Please check that shit out. Take a look at it. Good videos. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys have nothing to do, 20-40 minutes in a day, instead of watching garbage freaking animations on Netflix or scrolling 50 minutes without finding anything you want to watch, put that shit on, man. Listen, get your mind clear. Talk about it. Talk to your friends about it. I'm just trying to grow my market here. No, but for real, send messages, talk, be more social. Don't live in these screens. As I mentioned in my last video as well, slowly unplug yourself from these screens, man. Take yourselves away from these machines. Understand the difference that it's causing onto your life being stuck on these machines. If you were to unplug yourself and if you were to listen and get back to socializing, I feel a lot of people would feel a lot better and they wouldn't feel cramped and they wouldn't have the social anxiety that they have. And a lot of people have these mental problems because we are so fascinated living in our mobile devices. That being said, I'm done with this shit. I'm going to go eat my meal and then I'm going to go train. So all of you get your workouts in. Make sure you're eating right. Make sure you're sleeping right. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. And like I said, I hope you guys took at least the slightest bit of information from what I just said on any of the wide, ridiculous topics that I talked about. But the most important one being is it's the people that help impact your life the most that matter the most. So if you're losing smaller steps in between, that's cool. It really doesn't matter. Sometimes you have to take extra steps. Sometimes you have to take less. Keep your community tight. Keep your support system tight. Show love to the ones that love you. And even if they don't, still show love, because that is all we got, guys. Love is all we got. It sounds tacky as fuck to say, but it is the reality. All right. So once again, thank you very much. Podcast is sponsored by Keep It Lean Apparel. Like I said, I'm wearing the gray and fucking purple, maybe. New release soon on the Keep It Lean apparel as well. I cannot give much information about that, but for those of you who go on the Instagram page, follow it, Keep It Lean apparel. You guys are going to see the details there. Some good stuff coming up. Yeah, that's it. Happy 10th episode. Have yourselves a wonderful freaking day. I'm out.